A very good evening and welcome to LFS this evening for this Championship live game on Monday night. And just 7 days ago, it was confirmed that Leeds were heading back to the Premier League alongside Burnley after Burnley's 2-1 win against Sheffield United at Turf Moor. We watched that here live and the scenes were incredible. And two incredible football clubs back to the top flight. But the job is not done yet. After Burnley's 5-0 win away at QPR over the weekend, Leeds now have the chance to return to the top of the table if they can claim victory over Bristol City, who themselves still have a fight on their hands in trying to get into the top 6. Leeds would go back top with a victory tonight on goal difference, and it would come down to the final day to see which of the two teams, either Leeds or Burnley, would win the title. That's what's still on the line, and that is what we're looking at tonight, as well as, of course, the race for promotion. Looking at the top two then, this is the way it looks. Burnley 97 points after they won away at QPR at the weekend, their 27th win of the season. Leeds have the chance to go back top. Of course, their goal difference, you can see on the far right there, is 9 better off, and that could get better tonight if Leeds win, of course, and they would go up to 97 points and go above Burnley on goal difference. Sheffield United, of course, on 89, Sunderland on 76, and then Bristol City, as we see there, on 67. But let's bring into context what those final two playoff places look like, because third and fourth already guaranteed at playoff football, of course, Sheffield United and Sunderland. But the other two spots are not done and dusted yet. This is the way it looks then, heading into the final day. Of course, Bristol City will still have to do it. They can confirm a top 6 finish, a playoffs finish, if they claim victory at Elland Road tonight. Now, they've not done that for quite a long time, won at Elland Road, but they could do it tonight. Bristol City confirming their playoff places up into 70 points. That would be for them. That would be done and dusted. But for tonight, there's still 2 spots up for grabs. And look at that. Bristol City and Coventry both coming off defeats in their previous games. Means they come into this one and into the weekend, of course the final day on Saturday, with a lot on the line, knowing they'll need to win to keep themselves in it. Millwall, of course, on 66, just outside the top 6 on goal difference, as is Blackburn on 65 points. They're a point behind Coventry, and Middlesbrough on 64 points. So it is up for grabs between at least those 4 teams, 6th to 9th, but Bristol City still not out of the woods yet. If both Bristol City and Coventry lose, any of the 3 outside of the top 6 could finish in the top 6 come the end of play on Saturday lunchtime. That's the way it looks then into that. So top 9 can still, 3 of those teams still claim a top 6 finish, Millwall, Blackburn or Middlesbrough. In terms of the relegation battle, which has been hot-footing it all weekends, Cardiff were officially relegated at the weekend after their 0-0 draw. So they are down and out into the 3rd tier of English football for a number of years at Cardiff City. The Plymouth and Hull are also in the bottom 3. Hull moved into the bottom 3 as well with their result at the weekend. Currently losing at home to Derby in that one, and Plymouth, of course, they won away at Preston, which pulled Preston back in, so it's all happening at the moment. But look at that gap. Stoke could still be relegated, possibly, if Derby, Preston, Luton and Hull all pick up results. Stoke could still be relegated theoretically, but it is very unlikely that that is to happen. But of course, mathematically, they could still go down, so that's why we have them there. Derby keep winning. Look at what Derby are doing after that home defeat to Luton. They've gone back-to-back wins away at West Brom and away at Hull. They've got Stoke on the final day, which is huge for them. Then we've got a Preston side who, as I said, lost at home to Plymouth. Preston have lost now 4 in a row, and they head to Bristol City on the final day. That will be some cracker of a game on Saturday. In that one, Luton, look at their form. 3 wins in a row for Luton Town, including that Derby win at Bristol City and Coventry. Real 3 teams that are battling for places, and Luton come out with 3 wins from those. And West Brom away for them on the final day. For Hull City, they lost at home to Derby at the weekend. They head to Portsmouth on Saturday. Plymouth need a big win. They host Leeds on the final day. That could be a tasty affair. And then, of course, Cardiff already relegated. So the relegation battle going down to the final day as well. Let's have a look at this game then tonight. Leeds and Bristol City. Leeds looking for the championship title and would head back top with a win. But Bristol City would confirm their place in the playoffs with a win tonight. They've been gradually upping themselves every season and one-upping themselves in the table every season. This one would be their biggest step and leap forward, Bristol City, if they can get to the playoffs. But Leeds are in their way, and a Leeds side unbeaten in the last 10 meetings against Bristol City, winning 8 and drawing 2. Bristol City have never beaten Leeds at Elland Road in the Championship. Won 8 and drawn 1. Only draw is a 2-2 draw back in February 2018. Leeds have won 17 of their 22 home league games this season. Their only defeat was against Burnley back in September. Bristol City have won just 4 of their 22 away league games this season. Just 1 away league win since November. And the reverse fixture ended in a 0-0 draw back in October. The only goalless draw in this fixture in the Championship ever. That's the way it looks then. And that's the way we stand heading into this one tonight. It's a big game, Leeds against Bristol City. Two sides with a lot still to play for. And a Leeds United side that have a title on the line. Let's have a look at the two teams then for this one. Starting with the home side, who are unchanged from their 6-0 win over Stoke last week. Carl Darlow continues in goal. Jayden Bogle, Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu the captain, and Junior Firpo are the defence. Ayo Tanaka and Ilya Gruyev are the midfield two, with Brendan Aronson in the 10. Willie Nonto on the right-hand side, Manor Solomon on the left, and leading the line, the man who scored 4 goals against Stoke here just 7 days ago, Joel Piroux, leads the Leeds line. On the bench, Melier, Cairns, Gulavogi, Byram, Verber, Ramazani, Youssef, Gray and Bamford. For Liam Manning's Bristol City, O'Leary starts in goal. A back 5 of Tanner, Viner, Dickey, Roberts and McCrory. In midfield, McGuigan and Knight the captain, with a forward 3 of Bird, Earthy and Naki Wells leading the line. On the bench for Bristol City, Bajic, Williams, Mehmeti, Morrison, Hirakawa, Bell, Twine and Armstrong. Remember, Leeds can turn top if they win, but Bristol City will confirm 5th place with a victory of their own. It's all on the line, under the lights of Elland Road. Kick-off is next. A very good evening. Welcome to Championship Live with me, Kevin Ferris. Tonight, it is our final Championship League game of the season. Of course, we won't have the final day coverage live for you, unfortunately, this season. But we will have all the outcomes and what way it will turn out for you on Saturday. We'll let you know and keep you right up to date. But we will be here with the playoffs when they take place a little later this month coming, actually, in May. We'll have those in the playoff final, of course, which Leeds lost out on last season, but they'll not have to worry about that this season. This is their final home game of the season, and they want to end it on a big win. As I said, they've won 17 of their 22 home games this season, Leeds. They don't want to end that run tonight. Just one defeat at this stadium all season in this competition. That is some form and some return in results. Leeds in their home strip of all white, and Bristol City in their away strip are the third kit this evening of that black, all black with red trimmings. As we get underway at Elland Road, last time we watched Leeds United here, they thumped their opponents by 6-0. Bristol City will only hope that that's not on Leeds' mind tonight, and certainly not on the agenda tonight. They've got their own 3 points to try and claim. They've got a big job on their hands if they want to do it, remember. So much looking forward to the final day. The final day is going to be really entertaining as well. So much on the line, with the title would go down to the final day. No matter what happens tonight, it will decide who wins on the final day. What happens on the final day as to who wins at the title. course, playoffs will go to the final day no matter what now as well, and relegation, so it is really as tight as it can be in the Championship. That's a lovely turn by Tanaka, finding Aronson wide to Nonto. Leeds have started the better with more of the early possession. That was a nice interception back there by the Bristol City defence, although Leeds with a high press won it back well. Solomon, lovely roll on, finding Brendan Aronson into Peru, struggling their way through a load of bodies, and Bristol City did end up getting it away, but my goodness, for a moment there it looked like Leeds were running right through them and they came away with it. One of the big points for this tonight is how early Leeds scored against Stoke. You know, it could have been a very high-pressured moment, very high-pressured game last Monday, but what Leeds did so well is they started well and they got an early goal and they just put the game to bed. They put all those nerves to bed and just had fun. And they just unleashed their quality, and, you know, they're a vast amount of quality. I mean, 90 points last season, they're currently on 94 points now. I mean, they could still finish this season as Centurions if they win their next two games, as can Burnley, remember. Both sides could finish on 100 points if they win their remaining games, which would be remarkable. That's a lovely ball in behind. Firpo just needed the touch, and it was Bogle that was there waiting for the finish. It was almost a full-back link-up from Firpo to Bogle. Bogle just couldn't get the touch. It's beautiful play. It's Bogle that starts the move. He feeds it into Brendan Aronson. He plays it to Joel Piru, who drops a little deeper outside the box, finds it wide to Junior Firpo on the overlap, and he just guides it forward towards the 6-yard box, Firpo. And my goodness, Jayden Bogle is about inches away from tapping that in for 1-0. That was beautiful football. And it was almost full-back to full-back. My goodness. And these two full-backs, Junior Firpo and Jayden Bogle, the most goal involvements of any defenders in the Championship this season. They're the top two for goal involvements. 13 for Firpo, 10 for Bogle. Incredible this season they've been. And they almost linked up for another goal there for Leeds United. Started really well. Their quality in between the lines so far, Leeds. Feels like they're playing with that freedom. You know, we talk so often about how at this point of the season the pressure's really on, and I said how Leeds scored so early last week, took the pressure off them. They don't have that pressure anymore. They've got promotion. They're going back to the Premier League. You know, they don't need to overthink it now. Play with a little bit of freedom and their quality will show. And I think that will be what Daniel Farkas said to his team. You know, yes, we want you to win, but we want you to play with a little bit of freedom now. You feel that weight lifted off your shoulders, because that's a heavy weight for a historic football club like Leeds United that, you know, in decades gone by were kind of challenging at the very top of the first division, you know, and winning titles and competing for titles at the top level. You know, that history will weigh heavy on you, you know, despite that not being anywhere near the expectation for Leeds now. But to get back into the top flight and compete in the top flight is a pressure, you know, and it's something that this club, Leeds United, will hold for such a long time, is because of the history that they've been built on. And that can be a heavy pressure on any players, but this season the quality of Leeds has just been too much for that pressure to really override it in a sense. I think their quality is just out of this world. Lovely ball forward by Ampadu. Bogle with a header, just couldn't keep his footing. And allows the clearance to be made there by Roberts. Win the throw-in, Leeds, as there was nowhere there for McGuinn to go. Ampadu to Rudon. Tanaka down the right side finds Nonto, who just passes it back to Joe Rodon. They've dominated this early spell, Leeds. 92% of the possession so far. 67 successful passes to Bristol City's 3 so far. It's complete domination in these early moments. One thing is, when Bristol City do break up the play, it's just not able to get anywhere with it. It's Fairpo there. Puts the ball out of play for a Bristol City throw, but so far, the pressure they've come under, Bristol City, they just haven't been able to get any sort of meaningful possession. It's a long time for that to come. What about the pressure of Bristol City? You know, I mean, I can't say I'm an expert in the Championship. I'm certainly not, but obviously you keep an eye on it. You see who's going to be joining us in the Premier League next season and kind of what sort of quality teams are we going to get. Hold on a second, because Bristol City with a rare attack here early doors. On this right-hand side, Bird. They have to turn it back the way, though. That's not a bad idea. Just to get a bit of ball possession. Get a few touches on the ball. Settle yourself down and get yourself back with a foothold in this game, you know. Well, that's not going to do that. The ball right out of play there by Tanner. And that's a goal, going to be a throw into Leeds United. But for Bristol City, you know, they've been gradually moving up the table. I mentioned it on Easter Monday, I think it was. And I talked about in previous seasons, they've just been building up the table. You know, last season they finished 11th. The season before that, they finished 14th. And the season before that, they finished 17th. So they're gradually moving up a couple of places every season, and they've just taken this big leap this season to compete in the playoffs and be there battling, and they've not given any sort of grip away, albeit they are still in a precarious position heading into if they lose this one, the final day, they have to go and get a good result to secure their place, and hosting Preston, who will probably be fighting for their championship safety on the final day. It's not a great position to find yourself in after having such a great season for Bristol City, but that's the job and the task that's at hand. So many sides fighting for those two remaining places now for the playoffs. You know, it's going to be more competitive and it's going to be a lot more difficult. And these hard games are going to have to come, and they were going to have to come at one stage or another. The last thing you want to do, though, is give it all that hard work right up until the season and then kind of just let it slip away at the end. They came back from 1-0 down against Sunderland on Good Friday, of course, at Ashton Gate. Came back and won 2-1 and then lost away to Luton on Easter Monday, did Bristol City. And that will be a painful defeat against a relegation side, but it shows you how competitive the Championship is, that when there's something to fight for, anybody can get any result they need, and that's why we're heading into the final day with so many different scenarios available. Here's Brendan Aronson finding Solomon into the box. Solomon's cross! Good save there by O'Leary. It was almost palmed right into the path of Willie Nonto, but he did really well with a parry. Just guided it away. And away from Willie Nonto, but that was much better from Leeds. Getting into the right areas. Getting the ball to the right players, really, you know. That's important as well. Getting the ball to the right players, that's the important thing. You know, they've got such quality in the attacking areas. The likes of Manor Solomon, the likes of Willie Nonto, the likes of Joel Piru, of course, scored 4 goals in his last game. So there's more than enough attacking threat. It's just getting the ball to them at the right times and in the right areas. It will feel like a party atmosphere here tonight. Of course, as I said, this is Leeds' final home game of the season. They head to Plymouth on the final day with a job they know they have to complete. What a sweet tale it will become. A fairy tale ending. Hold on a second. Here's Willie Nonto. Trying to switch it across, but far too much on that one. All he needed was a little deft ball into the box and just put too much pace behind it. It goes behind for a goal kick to Bristol City, but again, that breakaway for Leeds worked out really well. It was Brendan Aronson a bit earlier on, and Solomon's cross is incredibly just imposing on the goalkeeper, and it's a good save by O'Leary down to his left-hand side. Max O'Leary with a great save there, and did really well to get it away from danger. But as I was saying about, you know, they have a job to do when they go to Plymouth. They win here tonight, and then if they go away to Plymouth and win, there's nothing Burnley can do. You know, as long as Leeds keep winning, they will win the title. Unless Burnley can absolutely fire, 10 past their opponents? Depends how much they win tonight, because then you can really gauge the two teams on a level playing field. But that's if they win tonight, Leeds as well. So as long as they win, Leeds, it's in their hands basically, and they would probably be favourites to claim the title on the final day if they keep winning, because of the goal difference and the strength of the goal difference for Leeds. Here's Brendan Aronson. Nonto. Aronson again. Bodies in the box here for Leeds. Here's Bogle. Trying to get the cross in. Well blocked. Nonto's there to pick up the loose ball. Still has it as he strikes over the bar. And frustrated with himself there, Willie Nonto. Again, it was nice work again from Leeds. Brendan Aronson feeding it into Jayden Bogle, who's taken up a very inside role for a fullback. And we see that with Leeds a lot, that very attacking approach from their fullbacks, and Jayden Bogle in the box, almost playing as a centre forward in a sense there, and he kind of angled the attack in a way that allowed the space in the edge of the box for Nonto to try and unleash a strike, but in the end comes to nothing. Nice little break here. Naki Wells couldn't find a teammate. Again, that's probably where Bristol City will get their opportunities, is when they get the ball forward and get the ball to Naki Wells to try and hold it up and allow players to take space off him. But look at this football. Firpo with a lovely ball forward, and charging away is Solomon, and he's got Willie Nonto. His body's in the box as well. Nonto wants to go himself and has his shot blocked and wide for the corner. Or has it actually come off his own player? We'll see this again. It's a good move down the left side. Beautiful from Solomon again. Drives inside, lays it off to Nonto. Yeah, it does. It comes off Joel Piroux last. It's a goal kick. Yeah, Nonto, I don't know why he's taking the shot there. It was just not a promising shooting position. There was bodies in the way, including his own teammate, and it was right at the goalkeeper. Snatched at it a little bit there. Harley says 2-1 Leeds. Expecting a competitive game. Very, very close affair. Leeds are in a great run of form, not only at home, but in all aspects, home and away, for them. They're on a great run of form. They've won 4 in a row. Away at Middlesbrough, home to Preston, away at Oxford, and then at home to Stoke. And they've conceded just 1 goal in those 4 games, and that was away at home to Preston. They're unbeaten since a 1-0 defeat away at Portsmouth, which came 9 games ago. So they're unbeaten in their last 8 games. Our Leeds, and that Portsmouth defeat is their only defeat of 2025, and their only league defeat since a 1-0 defeat away at Blackburn back in late November. So an incredibly consistent Leeds side that don't drop many points, and if they do drop points, it's usually only a draw rather than any defeats for them. Pressure put on there. Piroux, yeah, well dealt with back there by Viner. Long clearance again, just picked up by the Leeds midfield. Tanaka, good work there from Solomon, laid it off well to Bogle. Nonto has to go back the way to Rodon. So far Leeds dominant in possession, getting the chances up the right end of the pitch. 7 touches in the opposition box so far. Bristol City haven't had a shot and haven't been able to get anywhere near the Leeds box. Look at that football. And Piroux, is he onside? He gets it across, and Solomon thrashes it into the net. But the flag, I think, has gone up against Joel Piroux. I think we could have predicted that. It looked like he was offside. And we were just waiting for the confirmation. We'll see it again. Again, it's really beautiful, intricate football. Lovely 1-2 give and goes. And Piroux, yeah, he's just offside. It would have been a beautiful goal. A wonderful team goal. Joel Piroux had kept himself onside. Still 0-0. That was an incredible play in the midfield, and it was just really intricate. You know, We talk so often about one-touch passing. It's just impossible to defend in football. It's one of the hardest things you can defend because there's just really nothing you can do about dynamic movement in between the lines. Here come Leeds again. They're not giving up on finding this goal early in this game. Tanaka, lovely ball wide, finds Solomon. Solomon lays it off to Firpo, who just couldn't reach it. And Bristol City can clear it away, but every time Leeds come forward, you think they're going to have a good opportunity. It's basically just down to the quality of players they have. Nonto tussling to win it back, as well as Bogle. The last touch came off a Leeds player. It will go out for a Bristol City throw on this left-hand side. Ayo Tanaka, named in the best 11 of the Championship this season, along with two other Leeds players, Jayden Bogle and Dan James. Dan James, of course, who's not here tonight due to injury. Missed the Stoke game and is missing this one tonight. But Dan James, Jayden Bogle and Ayo Tanaka all named in the Championship best 11. The EFL Awards over the weekends. Tanaka, look at that effortless ball wide, finding Bogle on this right, drives it into the box low and hard, cleared away well. Bristol City try and make something of that, but that long ball towards Naki Wells again, well cut out by an aggressive press from Leeds. Peru, wide to Solomon. Back to Gruev. And inside to Rodon. Wide it goes to Bogle. Almost at times a back six, Bristol City. Whenever they're dropping down one side, Leeds, they just drop in a wide player along with a back five and add that extra little bit of stability. Firpo, Solomon, Gruev. Nice ball wide to Bogle. Lovely thread in between the lines there. Finding Brendan Aronson. Got nowhere to go. Has to turn around and wait for teammates to follow him. He's got Tanaka now. Wide to Bogle again. Patience from Leeds. Waiting for the right opportunity to open up for them. Solomon dropping a little bit deeper. Out wide to Firpo. And inside to Gruev. And now Ampadu. Tanaka in between the lines. Passing it around with real great pace, Leeds. It's keeping Bristol City on the move defensively. Not allowing them to set into shape. Keeping them kind of a little bit muddled in a sense. Always moving. Always trying to track a free man. In a sense, always trying to chase shadows, basically. It's been complete control from Leeds, but all that's been missing is a goal. Simple as that. That's all that's been missing from Leeds so far. Rodon, out wide to Bogle, trying to manoeuvre inside. And Bogle trying the switch ball to Firpo. Firpo wins it confidently. And Solomon threads it through for Peru, lays it off for Brendan Aronson. Aronson! Good save by O'Leary. Again, fabulous intricate football from Leeds United. It's instinctive. Great from Firpo, wins the ball wide on the left. He rounds it off to Manor Solomon, who spins on the ball. Feeds it through to Brendan Aronson, linking it with Joel Peru, and Aronson has his shot saved across goal by Max O'Leary and out for the Leeds corner. That was fabulous intricacy. Solomon to take the corner, right-footed, flicked on the near posts, calls it a deflection, and now those calls were heard by the referee. Corner to Leeds. James Bell, our referee this evening, 53 previous Championship games as a referee. Right-footed delivery at the back post. Tanaka across goal. The header couldn't be fired in by Peru, and it's cleared away. Solomon, though, keeps it alive on the left. Leeds knocking at the door. Solomon's delivery round the back again. Tanaka deftly finds the back of the net. That was the coolest finish that Ayo Tanaka could have found. And Leeds break the deadlock. He had a ball zipping on him at the back post, and he just cushions it low, hard, right into the back of the net. Fabulous from Ayo Tanaka. And it's scintillating from Leeds United, who, when they turn it on, barely any team in the Championship, if any at all, can stop them. Bristol City denied them in the reverse fixture. One of the rare teams to stop Leeds from scoring. But when you've got the elements of Ellen Road and the quality and fierceness of Leeds United tonight, you would struggle to stop them in any case. That is a sensational finish. To get the precision on that, you know, a whip ball from such height, to get the clean connection, to take it down low through a keeper that's charging at you. That is sensational composure and a top quality finish by Ayo Tanaka. That's sensational. Wonderful goal. Absolutely sensational. A touch of class from Ayo Tanaka. His 5th Championship goal of the season for Leeds, and I don't think there will be one, unless it's an absolute screamer, that will be better quality-wise and just technique-wise than that finish. Leeds 1, Bristol City 0. And he's certainly got a lot of good ones, does Tanaka, but my goodness, that one was just pure quality. And they're in again here. Solomon running in behind. They want to make it 2-0. Good save by O'Leary, and he gets a second save as he spilt it there. But Solomon couldn't force it past him. My goodness. Again, it's one straight ball. Again, nice give and goes, and then the ball fed in behind by Groove to find Solomon. Has the left-footed strike. Tries to force it through the keeper's legs. And O'Leary does just enough to deny it. That's a lovely, lovely goal from Tanaka. And almost a second there for Leeds United. What about Ayo Tanaka? I was mentioning him about he is in the player of the 11 of the season, the best 11. 26-year-old Japanese. Of course, joined Leeds last summer from Fortuna Düsseldorf, the German side, where he had spent 2 years or so after being on loan there for a while as well. So that's where he has been in his career. Started at Kawasaki Frontale in Japan, of course, was his first club. Then went to Fortuna Düsseldorf and got his big move to Leeds United. £3.3 million Ayo Tanaka cost Leeds United. He started 36 games this season in the Championship and 5 goals and 2 assists. And the dynamism and the quality and the sheer versatility and passing range is just quality. Top class. Bogle feeds it down the right here for Gruyev, who just a little bit hard on that ball. Well, let's just show you what the table looks like then live, because remember, Leeds will go back top with a victory tonight. And they will be leading the way into the final day in the title race. This is the way it looks then, the top half of the Championship. Leeds on 97 points as it stands, currently winning this game. Burnley will be on 97 as well, but Leeds with a better goal difference, plus 61 to Burnley's plus 51. So it will be advantage Leeds heading into the final day for the race for the title. And that's the way it stands there. As you can see, It's only one goal into the back of the net. It could have been more. Very easily could be more very shortly. A strange defensive header there from McCrory. Allows Solomon to pick it up on the left-hand side. Solomon darts it into Brendan Aronson, who couldn't take a clean touch on it. Bristol City thump it as long as they can get it, but only as far as Ampadu. That's the problem for Bristol City. They just can't find a way out at the minute. The dominance of Leeds, that every time they clear the ball long, Bristol City, there's just can't find it to Naki Wells enough to hold it up and try and get them forward. There's just no out ball at the minute for them, and Leeds are just winning the ball back time and time again and just pressing them right into their own defensive third. They've been barely out of their own half in this game so far, have the visitors, and Leeds are just carving them open. Aronson, lovely little run. Solomon trying to cross it. Well blocked there by McCrory, but that was another difficult one to deal with. Another Leeds corner incoming. The best credit I can give Leeds is it looks like it's like a video game. It looks like a PlayStation game. EA Sports. It looks like that. We are passing with such precision. It's such high quality. It's like you're playing on easy mode. Lovely delivery in by Solomon. Headed away there. Off Rob Dickey. Bouncing about the edge of the box. Nonto still got some sort of hold on it. Tanaka using his physicality well. Finding Brendan Aronson. McGuinn is down here for Bristol City, which is going to call the referee to stop it for a moment. And just has to have a look and see if Marcus McGuinn's okay. See it again here. It's Tanaka that holds him off. Looks like McGuinn's just gone over on his ankle there as Tanaka held come a shield in the ball. McGuinn was trying to win it back and he kind of went over on his ankle there. Just a bit unfortunate for the Bristol City midfielder. It does give a little bit of respite. Both teams to take in some liquids. We see this goal again. I mean, the delivery by Solomon is quality, but honestly, I cannot tell you how difficult that looks. You know, it looks easy as if you were playing a video game. Just press the button and it goes in. But the precision, the time and the precision that he has to get that shot right, Tanaka, to take it under the goalkeeper that's charging at him. You know, the goalkeeper's trying to make himself big and kind of jumping at him. And to have that composure in that time, to see the ball coming from such a high distance and just to deftly guide it into the net is just quality. It's just really top class. And the chairman there of Leeds United watching on. Of course, the 49ers ownership group are here tonight to watch Leeds. Of course, the announcement that this afternoon that Ellen Road might be getting an expansion over 50,000 is the would be the increased capacity based on those plans. Over 15,000 people already on a waiting list for season tickets at Ellen Road, so there is the demand for it. It will be great to see such a historic football club get such great investment. Of course, Leeds have been here before. They've been promised big things before. There's Leeds in behind here. Bogle, well challenged, cleanly challenged down that left-hand side by Roberts. They were claiming it was, to me that looks like a corner. I think they were have given a goal kick here. No, they've given a corner. That was a little bit strange. It was George Earthy that was claiming for a goal kick, but there was no touch off Bogle at all. Lovely delivery. Cleared away by the goalkeeper O'Leary with a shot from distance. It's over the bar and forced over the bar by Dickey. Another Leeds corner. A touch by Solomon. And then the strike gets the lift. Looked like it was going right towards Max O'Leary, but the centre back there, Rob Dickey, makes sure that it does go behind and make sure it doesn't find the net. Corner to Leeds, left hand side. Right footed delivery, headed away at the near post from Solomon's cross, and Nonto will recycle that back to Carl Darlow, who's barely had a touch in this game, the Leeds keeper. 7 touches up to this point, so has been minimally involved. Compare that to Max O'Leary. He's only had 14 touches, but a lot of those have been saves in these early moments. Leeds goalkeeper Carl Darlow barely in the camera, in the lens of the camera all evening so far. Nice ball wide to Bogle, trying to square one inside. Nicely taken down by Solomon. Try to force it over the top to Piru, but again well dealt with. That's a nice ball forward to Earthy, who's spinning himself into trouble. And goes down and wins a free kick for Bristol City. Does George Earthy there off Tanaka. And a rare foray forward for Bristol City, getting up the field at least for a couple of seconds anyway. Liam Manning's side have been under constant pressure. Still a fairly young manager, Liam Manning, only 39. He's been at Bristol City for over a year and a half now, since late 2023. As here's a move forward, Naki Wells trying to get into the box, but lost his balance there as he was forced wide by Ampadu. Leeds just recover the ball. That's not promising at all. He got towards the box but was forced wide by Ampadu and wasn't able to get his shot off, but should have got the shot off a little bit quicker. Certainly had the opportunity to. Solomon inside to Piru. Gruev finding Tanaka. Finding Nonto. Bit loose in his pass, but Tanaka steps in and wins it back for Leeds. Bogle goes for the early cross. Cleared away again by Dickey. Pressure put on Roberts here down this left side and tries to see it up the line, but out of play, and Bogle takes the throw in quickly for Leeds. Still struggling to get anywhere near the Leeds box whatsoever. That Naki Wells chance was a rare foray forward for them. Still haven't had a registered shot in the game, Bristol City. Bogle, Nonto, back to Jayden Bogle. Has to turn it back to Rodon under a little bit of pressure there. Well, 7 shots, 4 on target for Leeds. Again, once again, they're doing all the right things. Bogle. Just basically waiting on a second goal. That's what it seems like at the minute. There is no real contest. Bristol City need to try and change their approach, try and give something. At the minute, struggling to get anywhere near threatening Leeds, and here might be a chance. Earthy's got the ball, he's carrying it forward down the left side, but lack of options. Roberts back to Earthy, squeezed into no space at all. Nonto has the last touch, allowing Roberts to take the throw in. Weimer back to Dickey. Last 10 minutes of this first half. Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0. All to Naki Wells, but he didn't hold it up well. Didn't pass it off well, and Aronson spinning away beautifully. Brendan Aronson's in the box, and Piru's shot deflected off Rob Dickey and out for the corner. That was absolutely fabulous from Brendan Aronson. This little pirouette is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely sensational. Spins himself into space. Absolutely incredibly away from Marcus McGuinn. Sees him off and pirouettes out of the way of McCrory. Absolutely quality. In the end, Leeds have a corner. Right-footed. Got the way to the back post again, Tanaka. Oh my goodness. Tried to use his head and he hit the side netting. How tight was that? Great delivery to the back post. Beautiful by Solomon. And Tanaka, all he has to do is head it back across goal. And it comes right flush off his head and hitting the side netting. That would have been 2-0. That really should have been 2-0. Now Tanaka knows it. The scenes on his face after that shot went wide. Every time you think Leeds might be in a little bit of bother, or they're being closed down, they just pull something else out, you know, like a magician. You think they're done. You think they've shown you all their cards, but then they just pull something else out from up their sleeve, you know. That's what immense quality can bring you. Such diversity in the way that they play, but all with the same principle. It's just uniquely amazing to watch. And that's a nice ball forward here. Well delivered into the box. Forced wide there was Wells. Earthy again gets it. Earthy dribbling into the box. Cuts it back to McGuane, who will lift it in. But too far away from any of his teammates in there. And guided behind. Ushered behind by Carl Darlow for a goal kick. Jensen says, hi, Bristol City need to win this. What's your opinions? Well, yeah. As I said, Bristol City, they win tonight. They confirm playoffs. Of course, they will not be mathematically catchable by any side outside the top six if they come away with a win. A draw would keep them at the mercy of the rest of the teams, heading, of course, facing Preston. But I think this one, out of the two remaining games, obviously, this one will be obviously the more difficult one. But Preston at home won't be easy. You know, that's not an easy task, considering what Preston will be fighting for on the final day. But I would probably say if Bristol City come away with anything here, they will be more than happy, because there's not many teams that come away with anything out of Ellen Road. Only 5 teams have left here this season in the Championship without being beaten. Only 5 teams in the whole league. You know, 4 teams have come away with a draw, and only Burnley have come away with a win. So there is no room for kind of error at Ellen Road if you're an away opponent, and not many come away with anything, even if they don't show any weaknesses. Leeds are just that high quality. They've made Ellen Road a fortress this season, and as I said, if Bristol City come away with anything tonight, I'm sure they'll be happy with it, more than happy, even if it is a draw. But they'll know it's still in their hands. They lose tonight, Bristol City, they win at home on the final day, they're into the playoffs. It's that simple, you know. That's the way it works. And you would bet them to get more out of Preston than they would away at Leeds. So it's not the end of the world if they lose tonight, Bristol City, because they would still stay in the top 6. They would still say 5th on 67 points and would need just 3 points in the final day to secure themselves. A draw could be enough on the final day, theoretically. That is if Blackburn and results with Blackburn and Middlesbrough go their way, but a draw could be enough on the final day, but a win is preferable, I would say, just to secure that spot in 5th. They're my local. What's your locals? Well, I'm not in England. I don't live in England. I live in Northern Ireland, but my local team would be Linfield, which are the reigning champions here in Northern Ireland. That's my local team, as they're the closest team to me here. Five minutes to go of the first half. Leeds 1, Bristol City 0. Ayo Tanaka's deft finish at the back post, giving Leeds the advantage. And that they've held, really, all the way throughout this game so far. We will reiterate what the story will be heading into the final day. at half-time. We'll talk about this game, of course, but we'll also talk about the scenarios that could unfold on the final day, depending on what happens, because obviously this game is the only game left. These are the only two teams left to have played their 45th game of the season. Everybody else has played 45 over the weekend, and we'll reassess those results at the weekend and what they could mean for each team. So do stay with us at half-time for that, because this is our final league game in the Championship this season. We won't be here on the final day, unfortunately. Schedules and all that type of stuff haven't worked out. I've got a cup final to be heading to on Saturday, so that's on my agenda. Unfortunately, I can't do this the final day in the Championship. I usually love to, but schedules just don't work out this year, unfortunately. But we will be here for the playoffs, of course. No doubt about that. Roberts back inside here to Knight. Has to turn it back to Viner. Knight again. Trying to get any sort of rhythm. Our Bristol City. That's not going to help either. That loose pass by Knight. There's just not much movement from Bristol City as well. You know, if you want to try and cause Leeds problems, you need to have a bit of movement. You know, when Jason Knight was on the ball there, he was just standing there looking for options, looking for players to run off him or to make a move or drag Leeds out of position, but there's just barely any movement. They've won it back well again. This is a nice ball into the box. Oh, Darlow could be in trouble. Oh, it's got away just eventually. Roberts has the ball stolen away from him now by Brendan Aronson, and Leeds on the move. Nonto finding Brendan Aronson down the right hand side. Aronson's cross, Piru on the spin, brought down. No foul, said the referee, just a fair collision. Bogle keeps it alive. Now Tanaka. That was a nervy moment for Leeds. A good early cross by Roberts there from the left-hand side, and Carl Darlow came and tried to claim, and the ball sprung away from him. He was fortunate that he had a player there to thump it away. Solomon squeezing it towards Piru, who can only toe poke the ball well past any of his teammates and behind for a goal kick. That's a lovely ball by Brendan Aronson. And again, Piru, while he's jumping, trying to spin away from Rob Dickey, and ultimately on the ground he finds himself. It's not a penalty for me. It's not enough for a penalty. And then this Roberts cross caused Leeds problems. It was Ampadu that was jumping. It was Darlow that came, and he kind of shielded the ball rather than trying to catch it. And he parried it into the edge of the box, and lucky he had an alert teammate to get a clear danger. He's not been called into action too much tonight, the Leeds keeper, but on that occasion didn't cover himself in glory. Unfortunately for him, he didn't pay the price for it. Louis says, come on Burnley. And we'll analyse at half-time how Burnley can win the league. It is still possible, obviously. It's possible for both Leeds and Burnley to be champions come, 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. Of course, all of the Championship games on the final day kick off at 12:30 on Saturday. Some spectacle. Tanaka lifting the ball over the top here for Nonto. Keeps it in play. Leeds can find a second goal before half-time. That will be a real sickener for Bristol City. Piru beating off the ball, but Bogle's there. Tanaka back to Jayden Bogle. Edge of the box, try to squeeze it through to Brendan Aronson, but too far away from the American. And right back to Max O'Leary in the Bristol City goal. 2 added minutes then at the end of the first half. And despite the fact that Leeds have had over 75% of the ball, 10 shots, 4 big chances, many's an opportunity to score. I'm sure Bristol City will see a positive that they're only 1-0 down, and in terms of the grand scheme of things, still very much in this game, despite the fact they've had little to none, or little to no attacking threat whatsoever, and Leeds haven't looked harmed one bit. They barely can lay a glove on them. But they'll know. 1-0 down against Leeds at half-time at Elland Road. Considering the last 7 days that this city has had, and this football club has had, you can't be too bad to that. Because there's no doubting Leeds should be further ahead. Here's Solomon to try and help in that cause. Finding Piru. This might be a chance. Piru toe pokes it forward. A little heavy for Nonto. He does keep it in play. Cuts it back. Nice give and go there between Tanaka and Firpo. And it's Firpo that crosses. And it was Piru that was lurking. And the header behind by Tanner gives Leeds a corner. Louis says, who do you think is going to win the league? I'd say advantage Leeds. I mean, Plymouth away in the final day is a tough one, seeing Plymouth are battling for their safety. And Burnley themselves, I'll see who they play. I'll analyse it at half-time. I'll definitely talk about it, so do stay with me because I need to get this corner. Whipped in by Leeds. Headed away by Dickey. And the shots from Nonto as well charged down. And Aronson just recycles that back to Jayden Bogle. And that should be half-time. It is. So, the first half done and dusted at Elland Road. And a first half where Leeds have absolutely dominated Bristol City. No doubt about that whatsoever. But the problem is, it's only one goal that separates them. Tanaka's deft touch from a Munner Solomon cross at the back post found Leeds the difference. But that is what they are leading by half-time. They had many more chances, but haven't been able to convert them just yet. It's Leeds 1, Bristol City 0 at the break. We'll analyse that and the weekend's results when we come back. Welcome back to Championship Live on LFS this Monday evening. It is Leeds United 1, Bristol City 0 at the break at Elland Road. And just before we get on to analysing that first half, just a bit of housekeeping. If you missed it yesterday, it was a massive day in the Premier League yesterday. Liverpool were confirmed champions with their 5-1 thumping of Tottenham at Anfield yesterday. Arne Slot becoming only the 5th manager in the Premier League history to have won the Premier League in his first season in charge. Incredible season that Liverpool have had on 82 points. Very different from the Championship. Let's just say that is a lot more high end in terms of the points for the titles, but nothing to discredit Liverpool whatsoever. If you want to watch, of course, the highlights of my commentary yesterday and the result of that game between Liverpool and Spurs, you can now on the LFS YouTube channel. Of course, you're watching this on the LFS YouTube channel, so you can go to our videos and check that. It should be on our latest post on there, and you can go and watch that now. Right, a little bit of housekeeping there before we analyse this first half, because in total, what I would say about the first half, quite simply, is Leeds have been dominant. You know, they've not had to do much defensive work whatsoever. They've been barely tested, if at all. They've not had a shot to face from Bristol City in that first half, and when you come out, and they come out with great dominance. They come out with really good, strong control of the possession and really good energy and pace about them in those first couple of minutes leads. And when you come out with that energy, you come out with that intensity to just dominate the game of football. It kind of not degrades, it demotivates the opponent, and kind of just goes, whoa, this is a lot they're on it tonight, and I said it right from kickoff. Bristol City will hope that Leeds are not playing in the mood that they were on Easter Monday 7 days ago, and I think they are right up until the finish. That's the only thing that Leeds haven't got exactly right in that first half. Everything right up until the finish has been perfect. Their ability to counter-press and win the ball back when Bristol City do kick it long and they have the control. They're basically in Bristol City's half, all of their outfield players. Their intricate play in between the lines, their ability to spread passes wide, move at one touch, keep the ball moving, keeping Bristol City moving, threading those beautiful through balls, lovely bits of individual quality and individual skill. Their set pieces routine, they're a brilliant approach play in all aspects. But the only thing that's lacked, and lacked is a strong word because that's a bit overstating it, but the only thing that's not been there is their completely 100% clinical finishing. I think if Leeds were on 100% clinical mode, like they were against Stoke, they probably could be 3 or 4 up here at half-time with the chances they created, and you can really pinpoint moments where you go, that should have been a goal, that should have been a goal. But we talk about the one that was a goal. Now, similar to the goal, the chance that Tanaka missed, the first phase of the before the goal comes from a corner. Lovely delivery by Solomon, and it was Tanaka at the back post. Massive threat. His header back across goal. Bristol City clear it away. See it again. Header at the back post. Bristol City get it clear of danger. It's fed back out wide to Manor Solomon, and then he delivers. Tanaka completely unmarked at the back post, but look, Viner spots him, watches, sees Tanaka there, about 5 yards between them, then doesn't look at him again, allows Tanaka to sneak round the back post in acres of space in the 18-yard box, and it's just a quality finish. And take nothing away from the finish by how poor the defending was, really, but the finish is just sensational. I mean, the delivery quality, beautiful, but the ability to just spot when you need the ball, and of course he's a professional footballer, it's his job, he should be doing those things, but I just can't describe how amazing the shot is, the finish. It's not a shot, he just kind of sees the ball coming and goes, I just need to get any sort of connection on this and it's in. But the way he sweetly connects with it, because I think if he gets any sort of pace on it, Tanaka, it's hitting the goalkeeper and going out for a corner, because O'Leary's just charging at him, and luckily O'Leary just lifts himself a little bit, tries to jump as he charges at Tanaka, and Tanaka just guides it with his right foot into the corner. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And O'Leary, not much that the Bristol City goalkeeper can do about that, but the chances kept coming. Brendan Aronson with a couple of chances. See this one again, Manor Solomon in behind, making a lovely run in behind the defence. Probably should finish and try to guide it under O'Leary. Then we see this again. Oh, this pirouette is gorgeous from Brendan Aronson. Absolutely gorgeous. And then finds it to Piru, who has his shot blocked. So they've had quality. And then we see this Tanaka chance again. Similar to the build-up to the first goal. But this time, Tanaka gets free at the back post and gets a clean header towards goal. This time his header just goes wide of the post and off the side netting. But I mean, there's no doubting the amount of chances that Leeds had in that first half. They probably should be further ahead. And as I said, that will be a positive that Bristol City will take and go, well, look at the many chances they've had. They've already scored one of them. Now, if they keep giving away those chances, there's no doubt Leeds will add a second, a third and a fourth and take this game completely away from Bristol City. So they need to do something about it at half-time. But they can also take positives and go, yes, we had absolutely no attacking threat whatsoever. But if we change that and find an attacking threat, we can get ourselves back level in this game and really test Leeds and cause them problems, considering they've had no registered shots in that first half at Bristol City. But there's still a way back into this game for them, which you would think is quite crazy to say, but It's very true. You know, a 1-0 scoreline is very easily overturned. But, I mean, the dominance from Leeds, I don't expect it to drop at all in the second half. I expect more of the same from Leeds. And unless Bristol City can find a way at stopping them, which I don't think many have this season, because that's why Leeds are on 90 goals in 45 games. That's 2 goals per game on average throughout the season, which is more than enough for this campaign, especially when you're only conceding 29 goals over the season, which is less than 0.7 per game, something like that. Quite incredible, quite remarkable, and Leeds are a sensation at the moment, and they probably should be further ahead, but they're not. Which gets Bristol City a little bit of a glimpse. They leave the door ajar just enough for Bristol City to maybe have a peek through and think, why not find a way back into this game? But we'll wait and see. Let's quickly have a look at the results, and I will get to Louis' question, because Louis did ask me who I think will win the league, and I'll explain my thoughts and reasonings behind it in a moment. But quickly, while I put those results up then, so those are the results from the weekend in all of those games. Louis says, who do you think is going to win the league? Right. Now, obviously, Leeds or Burnley can win the league. Burnley started the day on 97 points. Leeds win tonight. They will go on to 97 points, but will go top on goal difference with Leeds United if they come away with a victory tonight, which looks likely. And it will come into the final day knowing Burnley would need Leeds to drop points, theoretically, on the final day away at Plymouth for Burnley to have a very realistic chance, because let's be real, Burnley are not going to score 10 goals in the final day. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I wouldn't bet against it because it's the Championship, but they're facing a Millwall side who have something to play for themselves, so I think Burnley won't have an easy game on the final day, without a doubt. So I don't think they'll score 10 goals. And that's not a crazy thing to say, but I think Burnley do need Leeds to drop points in one of their 2 final games to have a real clear path to the title. But I think if Leeds win both games, they will win the league, in my opinion, because of the goal difference and how strong it is. You know, Leeds, as it stands, only scoring 1 goal tonight and adding 1 goal to their goal difference tally, they're on plus 61. That is 10 better than Burnley, who scored 5 at the weekend. So Burnley increased their goal difference from plus 46 to plus 51 at the weekend. Leeds United have only scored 1 tonight, and they still have a 10-goal advantage over Burnley. That's what goal difference. That's how important goal difference is in a season. And you know, that 6-0 against Stoke, 7-0 against Cardiff. Those games add up. Those games mean so much more than just 3 points, because they're the difference. Those 2 games are the difference for Leeds having such an advantage heading into the final day for the title race. But they win tonight, Leeds. They'll be on 97 points on top of the table. And as long as they go away and win against Plymouth, there's barely anything that Burnley can do on the final day to deny them that. So it is in Leeds' hands, and that's why I think Leeds will win the league if they win their final 2 games. But yeah, Plymouth away is not easy either, but I do expect Leeds to get over the line. They've come away at difficult grounds. I mean, Oxford has won, but I watched them on Good Friday night, and they were really impressive that night. I really do say so. Those are the results from the weekend then. And I was really impressed with Leeds that night against Oxford, and they came away with a professional win. Louis says, who do you think will get relegated in playoffs? Whoa, now you're asking me. Relegation, I mean, that's anybody's guess, really. I don't think anybody can predict that type of stuff, because if you were going to predict that, I would certainly say you need the lotto numbers for the weekend, but nah, I don't know. I mean, Bristol City are in a good position, and I do expect them to finish in the top 6. Even if they lose tonight, I think they will beat Preston on the final day, and whatever happens to Preston, we just have to wait and see. But we also have that Coventry. You know, Coventry were a really good side, but back-to-back defeats for Frank Lampard's team puts them at the mercy of basically everyone else, because, I mean, they head into the final day with it still in their hands, but they've got Middlesbrough, which is going to be a real fight in that one, and then Millwall head to Burnley, and Blackburn Rovers, who can also still get in there, they head to Sheffield United. So none of those playoff chasing teams have easy games on the final day, but Bristol City, you would say, has the easiest of those games. So I'd say they would be in it, and then it could be anybody. But I would like to see someone different. You know, Coventry were in it a couple of years ago, and no problem to them. It's not an issue I have with them, not at all. But I like a Millwall or a Blackburn, or even a Middlesbrough, to be in that conversation again. I would like to see one of those teams, but nothing against Coventry whatsoever at all. Right, speaking of those playoffs, this is what's to come then on LFS, because we've got the playoffs here on LFS to come next month. The 8th and 9th of May for the first legs, and the 12th and 13th of May for the second legs of the semi-finals, and then the big one, the Championship playoff final, for the final spot in the Premier League next season. That's Saturday, 24th of May, here on LFS. Right, second half between Leeds and Bristol City is on the way next. Welcome back to the Championship Live here on LFS this Monday evening. And we have Leeds against Bristol City. The second half is about to get underway. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you haven't done so already, that would be greatly appreciated. We hit 26,000 last weekend, and we're hot-footing it towards 27,000 subscribers. So if we get there by the end of the season, that would be fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for this one. We've got so much more to come. I mean, the next month is going to be wall-to-wall football. You saw by that little promo there at half, just before we came back there a moment or two ago. May is jam-packed, and certainly jam-packed with big games as well. A lot of finals on the horizon to come. As we're back on the way then, it's the visitors that get us going for the second half here at Elland Road. Leeds 1, Bristol City 0. Ayo Tanaka's goal, the difference of the two sides at the interval. A big second half to come. Bristol City turn this around and win. They will confirm playoffs before the final day. Can have a little rest on Saturday, knowing they have playoffs coming their way. That's only if they win tonight. Leeds win tonight, and they will take the title race to the final day, but it will be in their hands if they claim victory tonight, the home side, heading into the final day. No changes at half-time, by the way, for you. Both sides remaining the same. Solomon darting one into Brendan Aronson, and Firpo parried away, but Nonto parried away again. And another one. Shots denied again. Holy goodness me. 3 saves in a row from Max O'Leary. It was Piru, got it out wide to Solomon. Solomon across, finding Brendan Aronson, feeds it through for Firpo, whose shot saved. Nonto's follow-up shot was saved. Then Firpo kept it in play, and the shot from Bogle was saved. My goodness me, Max O'Leary. He is getting his money's worth this evening. My goodness. The corner Leeds, played away defensively there, and Nonto recycling it, but that was some moment for Max O'Leary. A triple save in about 10 seconds, if that. And that really could have been game over about 3 or 4 times there. That was incredible. Nitish says, I'm Indian, I want Bristol City or Bristol to win. Great to have you with us, Nitish, this evening. Now, we will do some polls, because I like a good poll. Who doesn't love a poll? There's Piru there trying to close down Max O'Leary. I will give you a little poll, because Louis was asking me a load of these questions. Why not ask you lot in the chat? Because you're here to enjoy the game, but also interact with one another. And let's ask you a couple of questions. Firstly, who you think's going to win the championship? I'll get that poll going now. There we are. So do get your votes in on that poll. Who is the win the championship title? Who's going to win the championship title? Do let me know. Burnley or Leeds? Who do you think is going to win the title? Of course, it will go down to the final day, no matter what happens tonight. Even if Leeds lose tonight, they can still mathematically win it on the final day. That is if Burnley lose and Leeds win on the final day. But we're not getting into that conversation because that's very complicated. Tanaka's got himself a yellow card here. His 8th of the season. I didn't quite see the challenge as I was doing the poll, but Tanaka's got himself a booking. He's been heavily involved tonight. Could have got 2 goals. Now got himself a yellow card and a goal. And the Bristol City attack, as it has all night, breaks down pretty swiftly. And Solomon guides the ball back to Darlow. Ampadu. Nicely fed across to Rodon. Who has space to break into. Down the right side, Bogle finds Nonto. Space in behind for Aronson. Look at this run. Lovely from Aronson. Across. Well cleared away at the back post there. By Tanner it was. Cleared away, but the run from Brendan Aronson was perfect. Spotted the gap in the defence. Beautifully threaded through by Willie Nonto. The cut back across was well cleared away. Their approach play again Leeds. Just quality. Absolute top quality. Ampadu to Gruyev. Inside to Tanaka. Out to Jaden Bogle. Leeds calm and composed. Comfortable is the right word. Lovely little turn by Peru. Finding it into Solomon. The sheer pace of the pass into Solomon. Just couldn't control it. Yeah, nice ball by Rodon. Peru shielding the man and then just spinning and turning the ball towards Manor Solomon. Just couldn't take control of it there. Again, it just seems like status quo. A bit of deja vu. It's more of the same really for Leeds at the start of the second half. They've dominating the possession, dominating the chance creation. Bristol City showing little to no threat. It's more of the same, if not even more threatening at the start of the second half than they ended the first. Leeds, that's nicely won back by Gruyev. Another loose pass in the Bristol City midfield, giving Leeds an invitation to win the ball back and to have it back fairly. Do keep those votes coming in the chat on the poll. A couple of votes, a good number of votes in now. Keep those coming in. Great to have you involved. 57% saying Leeds will win the title. 43% saying Burnley. Keep those coming in. We'll check upon that very shortly, a little later on in the half to see how that's progressed. But keep those votes coming in. It's great to have your interaction with us tonight. Here is Firpo. Well, the big conversation that always gets talked about for championship sides, coming up to the Premier League, they usually get their best players taken away from them, and Leeds had that last season. They didn't get promoted and still got a number of their big players stolen away from them. You know, your Jorginho Rutters and your Crysencio Somervilles amongst them that get taken from them. they've regrouped, they've recruited really well, and look at what they've done this season. But you always seem to feel that the established Premier League sides always pip the kind of best players from the newly promoted sides. And, you know, who would those players be for Leeds? I would say Brendan Aronson might be keen on, well, not keen on a move, but he might be pipped by some bigger clubs. Jayden Bogle definitely might be in the conversation for a move to a bigger club. No disrespect to Leeds whatsoever. That's an established Premier League side is what I mean. Now Peru with his goal return. Look at this from Aronson. Lovely little bit of play and try to reverse the pass towards Peru. Just evaded him. Bristol City blocking that away, and Bird trying to get the ball forward, but again, they're just... Oh, that's loose from Ampadu there. Just about to say, Bristol City, they're passing just far too loose. Far too easy for Leeds to just arrive and win it back. Here's Earthy, though, breaking down the left side. Maybe something positive for Bristol City. Has to turn it back to Dickey. Into Knight here, goes wide on the right side to McCrory. Back inside to Tanner. Knight. Down the right side comes McCrory. Tanner. Knight. Trying to find a pass, but there's the same three players trying to get on the ball, and there's just no movement again from Bristol City. They have to come back with it now. I mean, it's great out of possession play from Leeds, just shielding any sort of passing lanes. Didn't shield that one though. Crossfield ball well headed away by Bogle. And again recycled by Nonto, and Tanaka comfortable on the ball. Just feeds it towards Junior Firpo. Even when there is a little gap appearing in the Leeds defence, that's a lovely ball by Peru. Is Nonto onside? The flag stays down for the moment. Willie Nonto rakes it into the back of the net. Sweeping effort. The flag stayed down, and Leeds find their second goal. Willie Nonto converting quite superbly. Just as I talked about the gap in the Leeds defence that has barely been there tonight, but the gaps and the gaping holes in the Bristol City defence. Easy as you like for Leeds. Beautiful ball by Joel Peru, not taking anything away from the pass. But it's far too easy from Bristol City's point of view. Conceding possession, conceding those moments on areas of the pitch that are so threatening. And again, it's Peru drops a little deeper. Sees his man, he's got loads of time and space. And he turns on the ball, and he's miles onside, Nonto. What a ball. All the way through. Threaded perfectly. And then Nonto drives into the box and absolutely sweeps it into the far left corner. Lovely goal. Really quality. And that's the threat that Leeds can possess. And that clinical finishing hasn't always been there tonight. And certainly from that man, Willie Nonto, he's had his fair share of wasteful opportunities. But he certainly didn't waste that one. Leeds United 2, Bristol City 0. Wow. Lovely goal. Absolutely lovely. But again, from Bristol City's point of view, I mean, you know you're coming away to the wannabe champions, a team that would be top of the table going into the final day with a win tonight. You know how strong they are in attack. That was their 91st goal of the season in the league. They know how to find the net, Leeds. And you give them an opportunity like that. I mean, not taking anything away from Joel Peru's pass, but the gap. I mean, if you're going to leave a man like Willie Nonto free, at least play him offside. And if you're not going to play him offside, at least get a man up to him. Try and disrupt him. Try and put him off. Don't give him time and space. And here they are again, Nonto finding Bogle. Well blocked and well challenged there by the Bristol City defender. Couldn't quite see who that was. I think it might have been Viner. It was. Look at that. Earthy gives it away cheaply. And Leeds win the throw. You see it again, Bogle here challenged. Yeah, that's a very good challenge by Weiner. It's a really, really strong challenge, but a commanding challenge, and he won the ball cleanly. Bristol City are going to make a change here. It's going to see Max Bird leave the field of play, and he's going to be replaced by number 30, Sinclair Armstrong. Also, Naki Wells is going to be replaced by Anas Mehmeti. So, Mehmeti and Armstrong coming on, and Naki Wells and Max Bird coming off. So, attacking changes there for Bristol City. Or changes to the way their attack will look for Bristol City. An attack that's barely got going tonight. Still without a registered shot. 16 for Leeds United. 8 of those 16 on target. Sheer dominance. Michael says, come on Leeds United. Sheer and utter dominance. And there's no doubting Joel Pirou's quality. 19 goals, but also now 7 assists for the centre forward. That's a total of 26 goal involvements this season. So certainly racking up the goals, but also getting involved in the other parts of the game. So that ball forward was too close to O'Leary. And Joel Pirou actually the most goal involvement of any Championship player this season, with 26 now. Finn Azaz at Middlesbrough has 23. Josh Brownhill 22. And Boreas Saints 21. Dan James actually has 21 goal involvements. And Manish Solomon has 20 combined goal involvements. So Joel Pirou, top of the goal involvements list in the Championship. He's what you would call the Mo Salah of the Championship, basically, this season, is Joel Pirou. He hasn't got the most overall assists though, but he's certainly got the most goal involvements. Josh Murphy of Portsmouth has the most assists, 14 this season. Manish Solomon, Junior Firpo and Dan James are the top 3 assist makers in Leeds' team, all ahead of Joel Pirou. And Solomon's already got an assist tonight. That's 12 for him for the season. Here he is again. Solomon wants to add his name to the goal scoring sheet as well. And he has his shot, or his cross, blocked there by McCrory. Will be a Leeds corner. And we hit the hour mark inside Elland Road. Leeds 2, Bristol City 0. Comfortable, to say the very least, for Leeds. Well, they haven't scored more than 2 goals at home against Bristol City in the Championship since 2010, when they scored 3. A corner. Well dealt with. It's not often that Bristol City come to Elland Road and get hammered. As I said, 3-1 is the most goals that, or 3 that is the most that Leeds have scored against them in the last 15 years. In their last 9 meetings here at Elland Road. Leeds, of course, winning 8 of those 9 meetings. Only draw, as I said earlier this evening, came in February of 2018 when they drew 2 each in the game. And Leeds were 2-0 down in that one. Lasoga and Kemar Roof scored the equaliser, or the 2 late goals for Leeds to rescue a draw on that night. But every other game they've won: 3-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0. 2-1, 2-0, 1-0 and 2-1 as recently as last season. It is, however, Liam Manning's first visit to Elland Road as the Bristol City manager tonight. The last time that Bristol City came to Elland Road in the Championship was in October 2023, before Liam Manning was introduced in the November of last season. Leeds 1-2-1. Dan James with the opener. Cal Naismith with the equaliser, and then Joel Pirou scored the winning goal for Leeds that night. 2-1 it finished in their last meeting here. This one, a lot less parity between the sides. this evening. A lot more dominance and control from Leeds United. Just that supreme quality. Bristol City just not able to compete on the same planet, really, as Leeds. Just calmly passing the ball around at the minute, the home side. Here is Solomon. Dribbles his way past Earthy. Inside to Peru, and now lays it off to Brennan Aronson. Feeds it wide for Nonto, who tried to feed it across pretty quickly there, but Bogle trying to win it back. Nonto battling. Comes away with the ball. Up against Roberts, and Nonto wins. Leeds United a corner. Look at that. They were 1 second they're passing it around at the back and comfortable, and the next minute they can just turn it on like a flick of a switch. And just carve their way through you. And they've got a corner down this right-hand side to Leeds, which Ilya Gruyev will come over to take. Scored in the second phase of a corner in the first half. Almost scored from another corner. Both with Tanaka. Gruyev's delivery. Headed on and just wide by Junior Fairpote. Again, it was a good delivery by Gruyev. Strong left-footed in-swinger. Dipping down, and Fairpote didn't really have to jump for it. A little hop. Didn't have to get much height. And the header just goes wide. Just didn't quite get the connection he probably would have wanted on that, and that's what carried it wide for Junior Fairpote. Ampadu does well there across. Sorry, Rudon, apologies. Winning that challenge for a Bristol City throw now. Here's McGuinn. 25 minutes to go. Leeds 2, Bristol City 0. Mehmeti here, being hounded by Nonto and Bogle. Winning Bristol City the throw there. Anas Mehmeti. Yeah, it was good work. Mehmeti did really well. Shielded the ball from both Bogle and Nonto, and then he was going nowhere, and well, Nonto just a bit naively just shoves him over. And gives Bristol City a free kick here. A very good area. Obviously, with each goal that goes in for Leeds, it will hamper the goal difference of Bristol City, which will make it even more of a difficult task for them at the weekend. Even if they do drop points, it will make it even more difficult for them to hold on to top 6. As I said, a win is what they will need on the final day. Bristol City to secure a top 6 finish. Right for the delivery from the free kick, but over everybody in there. It was McCrory that was closest, and it sailed over his head. Goal kick. Again, just no threat whatsoever tonight. No threat at all. See how that poll is doing. Of course, if you haven't voted already in the poll, do get your votes in. And it's fairly swung in Leeds' favour at the poll on who do you think is going to win the championship title. 70% in Leeds' favour, 30% for Burnley. And we'll keep that poll open for a good number of minutes more, and then we'll get you another one to come. Very shortly. Solomon. Lovely little close control of the ball, and skips away with that footwork. Away from McCrory. Here he is again. Chops away from McCrory again and whips it to the back post. Headed back across. And Brendan Aronson skies it over the bar. That was almost perfect again. Great from Solomon. Header at the back post, and Brendan Aronson driving in. See this again. It was beautiful from Solomon against McCrory, one-on-one. Drifting towards the box. McCrory gets back in. He jinks past him onto the right foot again. And Solomon right to the back post. Bogle heads it across over the head of Firpo. And it's Brendan Aronson. Has to do better. The ball bounces. Aronson gets on the end of it and on the come down. He strikes it. But he strikes it over the bar. I think Firpo was claiming for a possible penalty. I don't know what that's all about. I didn't see any penalty or any foul in there that deemed a penalty. Neither did the referee. Well, that should cause a penalty. Jason Knight, that was a terrible pass. They've just not been anywhere near it tonight, Bristol City. And that's not an embarrassment. That's not a thing to come and say, look, you know, you should hang your heads in shame type of thing. It should definitely not be that. It's just Leeds are just too good. And not many teams can find a way past them. That's why they've only lost one game since November. I mean, it's just not in their... It's just not in their DNA this season for Leeds to lose many games. Here's Nonto. Lovely little ball into Peru. Finding it into Firpo. Lays it back off to Gruev. Firpo. Nice Solomon. Solomon trying to curl one. It's got too much hype behind it. Especially with Leeds being able to carve you open at will at times. You know, they've had 18 shots tonight. That was their 19th shot there from Manor Solomon. And they have had 7 big chances. You know, with that sort of attack, you could carve any team open and in the Championship. And that they have. I mean, obviously Burnley is the only team they've lost to this season here. And I mean, if you take out their away games, their home form alone, as it stands, winning this game tonight, obviously with the rest of the teams in and around them in that home form battle, all still to play their final home games. Leeds are in a strange position. They're the only side of the top 6 to go away from home on the final day. All of the other teams in the top 6 are all going, will have their final day at home, so that'll be a little bittersweet for Leeds. That's a lovely ball though by Brendan Aronson. And here's Solomon. They want to make their final home game of the season a special one. And here is Solomon to try and add a third goal. He's still dribbling through. Couldn't get past Dickey. But again, Dickey gives it away. Down this right side, it's Bogle. Jayden Bogle. Laying it off to Tanaka. Told to shoot by the crowd. That he does. But low and hard right at the goalkeeper. As I was saying about Leeds' home form, so this is their final home game of the season. The other teams all still have to play at home, so Leeds will have 23 home games under their belt after this one. 18 wins, 4 draws, 1 defeat. It would stand as it goes. 59 goals scored at home. Now, if we just take out everybody else in that list, in terms of home goals scored this season, Leeds with 59. The team comes closest to that are Norwich, who've scored 48. Now they're well mid-table. They've conceded far too many at home. At Norwich, 32 they've conceded at home. That's real goal fest as Carrow Road this season. But compare that to their opponents in and around them. 32 goals for Burnley at Turf Moor. 32 for Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. Bristol City have scored 34 at Ashton Gate. Sunderland 32 at home at the Stadium of Light, and Coventry at the CBS Arena have scored 38. So Leeds and all of those other teams in the top 6 have scored at least 20 goals more at home than any other team in the top 6. That's where they've separated themselves this season. When they win at home, they win well. And I mean, there's no doubting 2/3 of their goals have come at home this season. They make their home advantage count. And that's shown in their record at home, but also their goal scoring record at home. You know, 59 goals scored, only 12 goals conceded. Now, that's not the best in the Championship. Burnley have only conceded 7 at home. That's the best, but Leeds are second on that list for least goals conceded at home. So they make Elland Road a fortress. I mean, you're scoring that many goals at home. 59 goals in 23 games. You're averaging around about 2.7, 2.6 goals per game at home. And you're not conceding many. It's a recipe for success. And that's what you can see from Leeds. They've made Elland Road a fortress. And have made it a real glory pitch to play on for their way of playing. You can certainly see that. And they're enjoying and having fun tonight. They probably should have more goals than they've already scored tonight. And offside against Joel Pearut ends that attack. In terms of Bristol City away from home, I mean, their away form's not been great this season. Only 4 away wins. They haven't won. They only won once away from home since November. Have Bristol City. It's not a good away form, and they're going to make more changes here. It's going to see George Earthy and Ross McCrory, replaced by Sam Bell and Scott Twine. So Twine and Bell on, replacing Earthy and McCrory for Bristol City as they win themselves a corner, I believe, off Joe Rodon. Their first of the game, and they want to take it quickly. Ball across the box, away by Tanaka. Kept alive down that right-hand side, though. It's Bell who's only on the field. Bell, deep cross. Header up in the air, and the shot is dragged wide by Scott Twine. And that is their first shot of the match from Scott Twine. They're snatched at it. Dragged it wide of the left post, but that was their first shot of the night. 75th minute. And that was Bristol City's first attempt towards the Leeds goal. And it was off target. I mean, that shows how crazy and how dominant Leeds have been. And how lacklustre and nowhere near it Bristol City have been. And the fact that they needed to wait till the 75th minute to have their first attempt. That's where they are, as Bogle caught a little bit of a stray there. He is okay. He's back up on his feet and getting some refueling materials. He is grand. He'd be grand. Well, let's talk about Leeds as a team then. I mean, I've spoke about their home form. I mean, they've scored the most goals this season. Obviously, 91 they would be on now. Trying to keep track of it at the moment. They have the second least amount of goals conceded, 29. Burnley are absolutely unbelievable. 15 goals conceded in 45 games. That's 1 goal they've conceded every 3 games on average this season. Nuts. Leeds have the most big chances created this campaign. Now, all of this doesn't include tonight's game, by the way. They've hit the woodwork, not many's a time, surely, 15 times. So they've hit the woodwork quite a lot. You don't often see many yellows or reds. Leeds United have actually the least amount of yellow cards of any championship side. 67 coming into tonight. They've had 1 tonight, so 68, joint last in terms of yellows. So their discipline is good. They haven't had a red card this season. One of 4 sides yet to see a man sent off. Leeds, Derby, Stoke and Oxford. So they're, in terms of their discipline, absolutely incredible. As Aronson looking for a cross into the box there, cleared away. Nonto keeps it alive. Tanaka. Nonto again. Another thing to add to the list here. Leeds haven't made a change yet. Bristol City have made a number of substitutions. Leeds haven't. They also have the most accurate passes per game on average. The most average possession on in a game. Leeds, the most shots per game on average, the most shots on target per game on average. They're leading where you want to lead all of those stats. And clean sheets wise, they're not going to win the most clean sheets. They can't catch Burnley now. Burnley have 30 clean sheets, but Leeds want to get their 25th clean sheet of the season here tonight. 24 previous clean sheets. Including 3 of the last 4 games have ended with a clean sheet. Only goal they've conceded in their last 4 came at home to Preston. They got a clean sheet away at Middlesbrough, clean sheet away at Oxford, and a clean sheet at home against Stoke. So certainly racking those up in recent form. They are readying changes, by the way. I think Daniel Farker heard me and remembered, oh, I haven't made any changes yet, and decided to listen to my advice. Just bring on some more fresh legs, because the final day is going to be a day for Leeds to still have to go out and find a result. It's 5 days' time. Work still to do, as the Olays are now out inside Elland Road. Every pass is made, met by an Olay from the 30-odd thousand inside here. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Those Leeds United fans. Grave. There's just nothing quite like a crowd of 30,000 people shouting Olay every time their team makes a pass. I don't think Leeds want to make a risky pass to end this. They've not moved it past their centre-backs or midfielders yet. Tanaka. Firpo. And they're now singing a song that I can't repeat. But let's just say they're taking the PISS is what the fans are singing. Oh, lovely flick on by Nonto. Beautiful. Finding Firpo. Look at the Peru, sorry. And Nonto charging through. His body's with him. Couldn't beat off the challenges. As Bogle tries to win it back, and that's a little bit late there. The foul not given by the referee, though. I think that looked a little late. Well, so Leary almost pressed into an awkward position, forcing the ball forward. I have to see that foul, that challenge again. I think that was a little bit late by Anas Mehmeti here. Yeah, he just catches Bogle on the follow through, to be fair, but it's a little bit dangerous. Didn't make any contact. Double substitution then for Leeds. Here it's going to see Joel Peru and Willie Nonto replace. So Nonto on the score sheet tonight, and Peru setting him up. That was the goal that really put this game to bed, if it wasn't already put to bed. Joel Peru with his 7th assist of the season, and Willie Nonto scoring his 8th goal of the season. And they're going to be replaced by Patrick Bamford and Largi Ramazani. So Patrick Bamford and Largi Ramazani replacing Joel Peru and Willie Nonto for Leeds. Right, let's have a quick look at this poll then before we finish it. In the chat, who you think is going to win the championship title? 76%, it's only gone up since we last checked it for this one. 76% saying that Leeds will win the title. 24% saying Burnley will win the title. Incredible. Right, thank you very much for that. That's that poll done and dusted. Thanks everybody for getting involved and having your say on that one. Remember for you, we do have the playoffs live here on LFS, and Leeds won't be involved, but they want to add a third here. Firpo! And into the back of the net, it was Ramazani. Arguably his first touch of the game, and Leeds United have a third goal. And if the game already wasn't put to bed, it most definitely is now. And Largi Ramazani adding the icing on top of the cake for Leeds United. A celebratory week, and it's going to be ending with a celebratory final home game of the campaign. And Largi Ramazani with his first real impact and first real touch since coming on. And he gets his 5th championship goal of the season. His first since late January. Lovely little intricate play in behind. Firpo darts it across the 6-yard box. Ramazani runs off the back of Roberts. And clean as you like. Beautiful finish. Lovely, lovely goal. It's what they've had in their locker all night, Leeds. And they probably could have scored more like it. And certainly could have added a fourth, a fifth, even a sixth to this one tonight. But they won't care how many they have. They set up what will be a cracking final day as they head to home park. Away at Plymouth. And a win would surely win them the title and get them 100 points. Remember, against Stoke, Leeds broke a club record for the most points in a league season in the club's history. Previous record was 93 points. They started the night on 94. They will end tonight on 97. But they could end this season on the magic 100. And you wouldn't bet against them getting close to 100 goals either. That would take some task to get to 100 goals. They still have 8 to go until they get to 100. They're on 92 at the moment after the 3 they've scored tonight. They would need to destroy Plymouth on the final day. The way they played tonight, they probably should have destroyed Bristol City like they did against Stoke here 7 days ago. Obviously, the last time all these fans were inside this stadium before tonight, they weren't confirmed back to the Premier League. They needed on the latter result of Burnley beating Sheffield United to confirm it. But it's a real party atmosphere around Elland Road tonight. And a season to remember, certainly. They want a bit of trophy and a bit of silverware to bring back and celebrate with these fans heading into that Premier League season next season. And they're having fun tonight, Leeds. I mean, that goal came on their 21st shot of the night. 10 of those shots on target. I mean, it's just remarkable. Bristol City have had 1 shot in comparison. That's their second shot from Bristol City. And that's again from Scott Twine. But he puts it well over the bar. More changes for Leeds incoming. It's going to be Mateo Joseph. He's going to be one of them. And Joshua Gilavogi is going to be the other. It's going to be Brendan Aronson and Ayo Tanaka that are going to be the replacements. And we see that goal from Tanaka again that opened the scoring tonight. Great goal. Quality. And his impact sensational. So Tanaka and Brendan Aronson getting a well-deserved rest now. And Mateo Joseph and Josh Gilavogi are on. Gruev. Gilavogi. Bogle. Look at that. The scene of all those yellow scarves being swung around by the 30,000 inside Elland Road. An atmosphere really to soak up and to enjoy. And they will enjoy it. And who knows? Maybe in the near future, there could be more enjoying it inside this stadium. A historic football club, a historic ground. And it might just get a couple more thousand inside. 15,000 is the touted increase. Up to over 50,000 on that new stadium plan. So the atmosphere is probably only going to get better with that expansion. There won't be any lack of Leeds fans to enter and fill this incredible stadium. 3 minutes of the 90 to go. What a season it's been. I mean, what a difference a year makes. You know, Leeds United ended their 23-24 campaign at home on the final day, losing 2-1 to Southampton. Here's Ramazani in behind again. Chops back, Ramazani lays it back to Joseph, who can't get a shot off. Bogle whips it in, headed away. Touched by Gilavogi, Gruyev. And the shot from Ramazani is low and hard, right at the goalkeeper. As I was saying, what a difference a year makes. They lost at home to Southampton last year that really ended their hopes of promotion. They went into the playoffs on the back foot, really. And look, tonight, their final home game of this season is going to end on such a high that they're at the heavy heights of top of the championship table. Knowing one win on Saturday afternoon would be enough, you would suggest, to win the title. And look at this. It's going to be another change here. The fifth and final change of the night. And it's going to be Sam Byram, I believe, that's coming on. And he's going to replace Junior Fairpo. So Byram replacing Fairpo. Sam Byram, as I said, all those years ago, all those years with Leeds, all the way back when he came through the academy, came into the first team in 2012, 13 years later, almost 13 years later, part of the squad that gets them back to the championship, or back to the Premier League from the championship. And let's be real tonight, you know, Leeds winning 3-0, it could have been so much more. And I would say, for their goal difference for Bristol City, I said it tonight, and how their goal difference could be a real threat heading into the final day, because as it stands, they have a +5 goal difference with conceding these 3 goals. Coventry have a +4, Millwall have 0, +5 for Blackburn, and +10 for Middlesbrough. So goal difference could come into question at the weekend if results go a certain way. So I'm sure Bristol City are happy that if it does come down to that, they'll have to wait and see what happens elsewhere. 4 added minutes then at the end of this one. And Ramazani's in down the right here again. Does well. And wins the corner off Roberts. A reminder for you, the Championship playoffs will be here next month. But we will have Champions League semi-finals for you tomorrow night and Wednesday night. We start at the Emirates tomorrow, Arsenal against PSG. And then on Wednesday night, we're in Barcelona as the newly crowned Copa del Rey champions. After their win on Saturday night against Real Madrid, they take on Inter Milan, who are still battling for the Serie A title. That's on Wednesday night. Right, Leeds corner, right-hand side, 3 minutes to go. Left-footed delivery, cleared away by Bristol City. Got its way towards the 6-yard box before it was cleared. Bogle. Wide to Solomon. Now Joseph. Back to Ampadu. Gilavogi. Trying to go over the top. But no one in white there to find. And Max O'Leary will just retrieve for Bristol City. To be fair to Max O'Leary, got to give him credit tonight because his team and his defence have barely not been there. And they've been carved open time and time again. But Max O'Leary has made 8 saves tonight. So he has certainly played his part in keeping the score down massively. It really could have been a real thumping if Max O'Leary wasn't between the sticks for Bristol City. He's made some great saves, and quite remarkably that triple save at the start of the second half. In the space of a couple of seconds he made 3 saves. It was quite incredible. He has certainly helped Bristol City to keep this score down. And he's got Probably no help from the attacking end. Just 2 shots from Scott Twine, both off target. So Leeds have barely had anything to do defensively tonight. Ampadu rode on, and the goalkeeper, Carl Darlow, barely tested. Although that's a shot from distance. Long range, and an easy one for Darlow to catch. And they're not going to end without shots on target. At least that's not going to be going down for them. Then the shot on target was easily caught by Darlow. Again, that's the most threatening Bristol City have looked all night. That shot from range from about 25 yards. Last minute of the game. Leeds about to conclude their home league season. And a final game on Saturday. A trip to Plymouth. A win, as I said, would surely, with the amount of goal difference in their favour, it would surely seal them as Championship champions. And I don't think anybody would argue against that clarification. Long ball over the top here. Ramazani's made the run. Ramazani with a cracking finish. Absolutely quality. Shows his acrobatic style as well, with a couple of backflips. Absolutely stunning from Larky Ramazani on the pitch, and scores 2 wonderful goals of very different technique and quality, but both unbelievable goals. And Leeds United, they didn't need any help with goal difference. They've certainly given themselves as every helping hand that they possibly could. And Larky Ramazani, now 6 championship goals this season. That one was a beautiful ball over the top. Ramazani making the run in behind, similar to the Nonto goal, just runs off the back of the defender. And there's no tracking whatsoever from Bristol City. Beautiful touch to set up the shot, and it rifles it with the left foot. Well past O'Leary, into the far right corner. Lovely goal by Ramazani. A real threatening substitution, and he makes it 4-0. And that's only as positive as Bristol City could have asked for, because there's the final whistle. And Bristol City, despite losing 4-0, will be more than happy with it only being 4, because it very easily could have been many, many more. With the chances that Leeds created tonight, it probably could have been 7 or 8, with the way that they attacked and found their way and carving through Bristol City's defence all the way throughout the night. It was Ayo Tanaka with a deft touch at the back post to open the scoring. Willie Nonto made it 2 with a clean finish. A lovely ball by Joel Peru in behind. And then a brace from Larky Ramazani in the latter stages really just put the icing on the cake for Leeds. As I said, a celebratory night at Elland Road. They're just 1 win away from being champions. And a trip to Plymouth is what awaits Leeds United. But this 5-game winning run, this incredible unbeaten run that they're on, is just credit to the hard work and dedication that Leeds United have put into this season. After the heartbreak and heartache of their final game of the season at home last season, ending in defeat, pushing them to the playoffs. What a comparison to this season. Well, they end the campaign at home with a 18th home league win and 1 game to go, and they're in top spot. Their goal difference is far superior to Burnley's. A win would surely do it on the final day. No matter what Burnley can do, it is advantage Leeds heading into the final day. Final score at Elland Road, and what was a great night under the Elland Road lights. It has finished Leeds United 4, Bristol City 0. Wow. What a result for Leeds United, and only what they deserve, and probably less than what they deserve in a sense, for how many chances they had tonight. They created 9 big chances, over 20 shots, and well deserved the massive lead as Willie Nonto kisses the camera. They're giddy with Real delight, these Leeds players. The job they've done this season is just sensational, and breaking a club record of points finish. Still got 3 points left to play for, and can finish the season on 100 points. They could be centurions this time in 5 days, and the fans singing along to that anthem of marching on together. Well, they'll be marching to Home Park together, hoping they can win this league, and they probably more than deserve to win it. Let's have a look and see what that does to the table then, because that is big indeed. Burnley, after their 5-0 thumping of QPR at Loftus Road on Saturday, they went top, but they've been dethroned of the top spot tonight. Leeds leapfrog them back up to the summit, and they lead by only goal difference. Remember, both sides on 97 points. I mean, that would be... We thought Leeds getting 90 points and missing out on promotion last season was bad. If Burnley and Leeds both end the season on 100 points, which could happen, it would be painful for Burnley to not win the league on 100 points. That would be unbelievably tough. But that's what can really happen. If both Leeds and Burnley win on the final day, they will both be centurions indeed, but Leeds would claim the title with their plus 13 better goal difference than Burnley. Plus 64 for Leeds, plus 51 for Burnley. But no discredit to either of the two teams who have been absolutely excellent this season. It's defeat for Middlesbrough for the second successive time, and it's a bit of a stumble from a couple of those teams in the top 6. Sheffield United not in a good way either. As you can see, they're in third, but they're clearly into playoffs, as are Sunderland, who've now lost 4 in a row. They had really got all their job done and have put down tools, in a sense, of Sunderland, knowing the playoffs are what they need to focus on. Bristol City, second defeat in a row for them. They're in 5th still, and Coventry in 6th. Back-to-back defeats for Frank Lampard's side as well, which means that Millwall, who are on back-to-back wins, and Blackburn, who've won 4 in a row, have got themselves right back in the mix. But have Middlesbrough fumbled the chance after their draw at the weekend in that one, really missing the chance to jump up into the top 6? They would have if they claimed all 3 points in their fixture at home against Norwich. Ended 0-0 for Middlesbrough there. But they will all have the chance, Millwall, Blackburn and Middlesbrough, to head into the top 6 come the weekend. And the final day is set for a real corker. The title, the playoffs places and the relegation spots all down to the final 12 games of this championship season. You wouldn't have it any other way. And we look forward to seeing what the outcomes of all of those games are. Remember, the 4 teams that do make the playoffs, we will have you covered on who makes it through to find that final spot in the Premier League. Leeds and Burnley have taken up 2 of the 3 spots for next season, but who will get the final one, we'll find out over the next month. The semi-finals of the playoffs take place, the first legs on the 8th and 9th of May, and the second legs the 12th and 13th of May, and the big one, the Championship playoff final, to see who seals the final place out of the 20 teams in the Premier League next season, takes place Saturday the 24th of May. And we'll have all of those games live here on LFS right up until that point. But for tonight, it's a great end to the season at home for Leeds United. 18 out of their 23 home games have ended with a win, and they're unbeaten at home since September. It's been an incredible season for Leeds, but just one more step to take. They could make their way to 100 points and certainly champions with a trip to Plymouth at the weekend. But Burnley, they will stand in their way only if Leeds fail to win. That is what will come their way. They host Millwall on the final day. Anything's possible. As I said, the promotion race, or the playoff race, sorry, the title race and the battle against relegation, all to the final day. And I'm sure Saturday will be a cracking day, and we'll wait and see what comes of that. But for tonight, as I said, Leeds just one step away from the title in the Championship. They thumped Bristol City. They put 4 past them, but it could have been many more. A great night under the lights at Elland Road. And Leeds making easy work of a playoff place team in Bristol City. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for your company. And it's great to have you with us tonight. And we'll see you again in the playoffs. Night night.